Welcome to the Benjamin Zulu Show. Sometimes do you look around your friends, married or in relationships, and wonder, are they blind? Can't they see? Don't they feel they deserve better? And to your genuine utter shock, they actually cannot see what it is that you're seeing. So they're being abused, manipulated, they're being dominated upon, but they have no clue. Hopefully today, with this conversation, we'll get to understand why they do not recognize that what they are going through, what they're in a relationship with, is nothing but just abuse. Zulu.
You know, I know you've heard of trauma bonding.
Yes.
Where people are attracted to pain, or rather, helplessly attached to pain. They say, but I love her so much, although she's constantly hurting him.
Yeah.
She's always saying, I can't do without him. I know he can change. I know. So the one reason people will stay in painful situations is trauma bonding, which is a technical word to say this person was so accustomed to suffering and pain that it is familiar. And pleasure and peace is unfamiliar. Be careful.
Whoa.
Be careful.
Okay.
When your taste buds are off enough,
Yeah.
you can get used.
Like even the movies don't help. You know, the storybooks, like there's, no?
I saw somebody say that children who were brought up under chaos become grown-ups who are triggered by peace.
Wow.
You know, I grew up where there were always customers of alcohol.
Yes.
It was derogatory to call them walevi on druggards. You are supposed to call them customers.
Yes.
Because they are buying from your shop.
Yeah. Don't be disrespectful.
But because they're always noisy,
Yes.
they become accustomed to noise.
Aha.
So in class, I could sleep when people are making noise. It tells me there's no chaos. No teacher around, no trouble.
When it's quiet.
In fact, when they keep quiet, you wake up, what has happened?
Teacher on duty. Oh my God.
And I tell you that psychology is real. You can get so accustomed to noise. And it's not joyful noise.
No.
It's not a good sound. It's chaos. That's when I saw people making fun. I think of Southern Sudan saying, so these guys, somebody arrives in Russia where now they have all these bombs and then, or Kuwait, wherever there is, then say, if somebody from South Sudan was to go there, then how they would sleep when there are guns outside.
Because they're used to it.
You know?
Yeah.
Although it was just a meme and a fun, there's a psychological principle that conditions you to live in the midst of pain, and because you don't know another norm. Some while back, I worked with a child who was born the way women say, because I'm not finding a husband, let me get a child in the meantime.
Okay.
So she was a child of that kind of decision.
Okay.
Because I've always been talking to the mothers.
Yes.
Asking them to think about the child.
Yes.
And as if I was being given an illustration, the one who signed up to work with me
is a child.
Now was a child. Actually, when we were in the midst of that heated debate, when I was trying to whip people, telling them it's very selfish to get a child, just thinking of your situation.
Yeah.
And you don't think of the situation you are creating for them. And picture if it were you, now somebody came telling me, now, forget those theories. I understand you guys have been talking in terms of theoretical. I couldn't talk publicly, but I'm here. I was born exactly like that. And then, as fate would have it, the mother died too soon. Those kind of women usually don't get many children. As you can hear, she wanted to satisfy her actualization as a woman. And if I wanted to get married, but if men are not forthcoming, at least I can get a child. And they usually get the child with a person clearly they have nothing to do with.
Yes.
This one was a friend. The child with a friend.
Yeah.
And because this friend has his own life, family, and all that, it will not be open. It can't be discussed too much. So that means what? You won't be introduced to your dad?
No.
Even if you introduce the appointed, that one. Secretly.
And we're not sure. We can't speak loudly about
So,
it.
these children, you know, I had grown up with those stories, and I couldn't think outside the box that way, but I knew something is wrong with that kind of thinking.
Okay.
They told me, you usually don't know your identity. Who do you resemble? Who are my people? Am I so useless that a person can give birth to me and forget me?
Oh, goodness.
Am I that? Who then will find me useful? If my own dad can just walk away and forget that I exist on earth, before you convince that child that they still have value, although the person who begot them, brought them to the world, totally forgot them, Mwikali, it's a long, arduous journey. It's a long journey. The mother doesn't entertain the discussion because it's a decision she's also not very confident about.
Yeah.
So those women usually work very hard to provide materially. And they go very far to give you good schools and comfortable life so that you lack nothing in their mind.
Yes.
If they can provide financially, you should lack nothing. The best schools.
Yes.
Many of them are actually very attentive. They show up. When you have every event, they come. The only side I came to learn, which we cannot see us who are outsiders, she was telling me, do you know you can have all the money and extra pocket money to spend, all the good shoes and kids admire you. But when you see them seated with their parents who have no money. One boy told me he was visited by the driver and a worker in Aviate, carrying shopping from KFC, from wherever, more than he could consume. And while was even, because it was also a single mother who got a kid that way.
Yeah.
Life is taking too long, let me move on. I'll just get a child. And so she was touring all over the world. This particular day she couldn't make it, did video call and all that. She was attentive, she was not neglectful.
Yeah.
And she was doing to give me good life.
Yes.
This was a boy who was telling me that.
Yeah.
But told me, one thing that scared me, am I ungrateful? Why am I disturbed? Because she said, women came carrying something on their back,
Yes.
wearing normal clothes, appearing like they've just come from the market, and they sat with my friend there. And although they did not have the gadgets I had, because during the visiting they're bringing me my gadgets to have some time, and doing video call with mom, and and a good car that guys are admiring, the other kids are admiring, and thinking I'm happy.
Yeah.
But you know, I was stuck there through the window, watching my friend laughing with the auntie. He told me this one had been visited by either auntie or another lady, the older sister or something.
Yeah.
And although they did not have what I have,
Yeah.
there's something they had which I couldn't put a name to,
Yeah.
but I wanted that. I wanted that. This child, this girl was telling me, can you warn these women that the one thing we want, even when they have worked very hard to give us good schools, good houses, good life according to them,
Yeah.
identity. She said you can't find identity elsewhere,
Yeah.
except from the person who begot you.
Yeah.
And even if you don't succeed to marry, because you can't force marriage because you got a kid,
Yeah.
that person should be accessible to the child. They should be able to sit and say, I'm your dad.
Yeah.
And I'm happy you're healthy. How are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
me and mom do work out, but that doesn't affect me and you.
No.
I hope you succeed in this life. I'm here to help you. I'll do all I can. No, you have my back. Above everything, I'll pray for you. She was telling me, even if the father is poor, even if the father has no money, but tells you, my daughter, I can't give much, but my God will bless you as you go out.
Oh.
She told me it gives you confidence of a degree you guys don't know, because you are used to it. She was telling me, sometimes I would accompany my friend as she visits a dad who is doing menial, very low income jobs.
Yeah.
And he has to trek or cycle long distances to go to work. But you know, the heart of that man, I could sense it. Say, my daughter, God is with you. And because he was a spiritual man, he would always pray for both of us. Come here, all of you are my daughters. So that prayer of a man praying because I'm just a friend to the daughter.
Yeah.
And then he would use plural language. My daughters. My daughters. And then you'd say, somehow weirdly, which I can't explain, every time we happened to pass by my friends, that time I would perform better.
Oh.
I would have better time. She said,
Yeah.
I can't relate. Neither am I sure, so I can't tell. But I made an uncanny. This time, I didn't go with Lorraine to pass. We did not pass by the dads. But I would struggle. So I made the connection.
Oh.
Is it the prayer, the blessing? Is it the energy? Is it the confidence? Is it? What is it?
Yeah.
A warning, and a strict warning. Don't say, let me just get a child for where I am myself. think of where you're bringing the child.
Yeah.
Even if you don't care about God or destiny, make sure you get the child with a person who's willing to father. At least. Let's negotiate to the bare minimum, okay?
You're very kind today.
Let me not forget about the morality of the whole act.
You're very kind. Okay.
In your shopping for...
Yes. Yes. At least.
And if, because men are excited to sleep with you, they're not really thinking about the child.
No.
They just think about the process. What will happen before getting the child? Then lay hold of a man who has a stable family so that he will force you away. Don't get a job with a bag. Avoid these bags who can run. Get a man who has too stable life to run.
Yes.
You know where to find him.
Yes.
And he would rather cooperate than lose.
Way.
Study quietly. It is wicked, but now that you're in a wicked business, let me tell you what is better in this wickedness. At least now we are negotiating between the lesser of the evils. Now that we're in the evil business, at least let us... Please, if you're going to have a child,
Yes.
make sure the person has stability in their life.
Yes.
And therefore, should you die,
Okay.
this child can find shelter.
Yes.
Don't make the child in between and they're anchoring on to you. And the enemy knows if he strikes you, he can finish this one. Find a way. But the other day I told you, it doesn't serve you any solution to say I'm getting a child so that I can, as I wait.
Yeah, as I wait. Life will happen.
So, today we are discussing a situation that it's not trauma bonding. Trauma bonding has been discussed when you've been conditioned to pain. The solution, the difference between trauma bonding and what we're discussing today is that the trauma bonding people are usually aware. They're just unable to stop it.
Okay.
They just know this is not good treatment.
Yeah.
This is not right. I should not be beaten up. I should not be roughed up. I should not be ignored. I should not have to chase.
Yeah.
I should not have to pay every time, bail you out, you're putting me to death. They cry. You see them protesting. So a trauma bonded person has the conscience. They just don't have the energy to do right. Many times they have insight. They know. What they don't have is a cocaine addict or an alcohol addict who knows this thing is killing them.
Yeah.
And even when they're drunk, they express wishful thinking to get away. I wish one day I just stop this life and become the person I wanted to be. So they have wishful thinking.
Yes.
They just don't have the willpower to fight out of the addiction. Trauma bonded people are addicted to pain.
Okay.
I don't have got to psychology trauma bond too many times,
Okay.
but one of it is when you are conditioned to treat that as normal.
Yeah.
The other thing is when your esteem is so low, you think you deserve that pain. You feel so dirty. One girl's against abortion because abortion has been the leading cause
Yeah.
for entertaining bad treatment, thinking is karma for the child you killed.
Yeah.
Be careful. Even men. You can suffer so many tragedies and you have no courage to pray, fight out because you think you deserve it. You brought it upon yourself. Be careful.
Yeah.
I have found it, and by the time you tell this person about forgiving themselves, accepting forgiveness of God, and they still think this is justice. This is natural justice.
Yeah.
So they succumb to it. They accept it. and
Yeah.
Be very careful. So what we are discussing today, Mikali, is not trauma bond. I had to look for a name for it.
Yeah.
But I came to find, and I found it after series of talking to grown-ups who seemed asleep while awake.
Okay.
They would describe a situation. One lady was saying, this guy chased us, me and our children, out of the house last year and brought in another woman. So now he has come to
Yes,
get
just the
us.
other one, and then-
Yes. Now they have discussed with the parents, and I was already building my house somewhere else. I was thinking, I come with him to counseling. Although I still see him, see many women, I still see him. But I wanted you to talk to us, and my parents did not want me to go back. But I think I'll go back because my child. You listen and you say, am I missing something? This is a polished, learned person driving a car. We are talking when she's in her car, by the way. This is a learned, working, functional person. The other guy had gotten a kid with that lady when the lady was 17, he was 22, someplace like that.
Okay.
It's now 10 years down the line.
Uh-huh.
He has remained in that thing for all those years. The girl is a wild woman, partying and faithful, this and but he's coming for that particular problem, the fact that she does not give him his conjugal right for several months. What do you think I should do? Then he's mentioning in passing the cheating, the insults, in drinking, in passing.
But the problem is...
So, and he's convinced, if only this,
everything else will be okay.
So, with the lady, because she was in 30s, and she was saying, before I married this man, I had been single for 2 years. And you married him at 26, and you say you had been single for 2 years. You've seen the trajectory? Yes. Whenever people say dry spell or single or abstain or alone for 2 years, at the period when all of it you should have been alone.
Okay.
As I told you,
yes.
When people mention dry spell, they are admitting something.
Yes.
They don't have discipline to live alone.
At all.
They have been always looking, and right now they've been unsuccessful in getting a source.
Yeah.
So they're asking if you can kindly be the next source.
Yes.
So
there's
a preacher who was radical, and he told people, if you stop sinning because you can no longer sin, you have not forsaken sin, you have been forsaken by sin.
How true is that? Sin has forsaken you.
So there are people they are not really abstaining.
Yes.
They are starving.
Opportunity.
Yes. So they are not sleeping around, but they wish to. They just can't find anybody. And they are requesting if you could kindly.
Be that person.
That's the meaning of I was single for 2 years. When I was 26.
Yes.
That's the meaning of being on dry spell. That's the meaning of learn to hear what is not being said.
Okay.
Life will help you.
Yes.
People usually try to concoct a picture. Always look behind it.
Yes.
There's a time I brought you a picture that is only a sheet sheet in front here.
Yes.
And they want to present it like a solid wood.
Yes.
People have hollowness that they want to present as solid. Mikali, when I investigated, I told her, so before the 2 years, you had been in a relationship? Yes, I had been in a relationship for 6 years. So between 24, 6 years backwards, she'd been in a relationship. This other guy from 22 made a 17-year-old pregnant.
Okay.
It's 10 years down the line. This one is also about 10 years since then. And I followed the trail. I wanted, it was so disturbing. Sometimes you bump upon a problem. I'm sure even in your practice, you find something that you can't ask about because you have no name for it.
Yeah.
You know, before you ask a question, you need to have a language for expressing what you're looking. So you see a phenomenon, a pattern. That's what troubled Albert Einstein for 10 years. He could see a phenomenon, and he couldn't have a language to ask anybody. When they asked him, Mr. Einstein, he discovered it by that point, the first law.
Yeah.
What is law of simple relativity? How many people understand it? Two people. I'm the first one, and I'm still looking for the second one. Would you kindly be... Sometimes what disturbs you in your work, when you are a curious and keen person, is a problem you can't explain. And there's a time mothers were dying in a certain hospital, after giving birth, very rapidly, and there was a false smell. There was a past giving false smell. Within hours, the person was dead.
Okay.
And there was a guy called Semmelweis. He observed that phenomenon and tried to investigate, but then he traced a pattern that was very condemning, because all the mothers who died had been handled by a doctor. Those who gave birth at home with midwives did not die.
Okay.
It is only those who came to hospital.
Yeah.
It's a doctor who handled them.
Yes.
So, at that stage, can you tell the hospital?
No.
They'll kick you out.
Yeah.
What are you suggesting?
Yes.
Sometimes your observations are very indicting to the people you need to ask. So he investigated quietly, and he made a startling and simple discovery.
Okay.
The mothers who gave birth when there are no other mothers being attended did not get the disease.
Okay.
Meaning it's being passed from mothers. Those who gave birth at home, when it's only her
Yes.
and the midwives, there was no infection.
Yeah.
But here the doctor is handling many mothers. So it could be possible this infection came one time. And the hands of the doctor has been the agent.
Yes.
So he suggested to them, he brought a detergent to wash their hands in between without explaining. And he insisted with two of who were friendly. So
Okay.
in between they washed. When he washed, 100% death stopped for those two who accepted. So now he still didn't have the reason, because telling doctors they're not washing their hands, you'll be kicked and thrown in. He had to come and name and tell them those time transference of germs was a new concept. So he told them it's possible you're transferring germs. He was helped by destiny or something, because one of the doctor pricked himself with a knife while doing, and he got the same condition and died quickly. So they were forced now to listen to him.
Yes. Yes.
So you see the way that prick infected him, the way you're infecting these women.
Yes.
So the germs are here.
Yeah.
This beef up hygiene. And he saved many lives by that. Sometimes you observe something that if it is true, it is also very indicting to many people. I observed something that is very indicting to many of us, because it is questioning a practice that is so common and almost endorsed and accepted.
Yeah.
The practice is as follows, my colleague. All these people, and I've given you 2 cases, and I have so many which I could not make heads or tail of. I admit, there are questions I can't answer, because the person is asking cannot hear. My colleague, you have met people. They are in such a bad situation. They explain it. They are awake. They are blinking. They are cooperating. They're taking another million shillings loan to give the same person who did not pay the other one, who keeps exploiting the other one. They're forgiving the same person who did the same. They are going back to the same situation. They're explaining. And you know, if it was a helpless person who is a victim of the one who is abusing them, you would say perhaps it's because you are helpless.
Yeah.
The one who is feeding you is feeding with poison, but you're saying, rather than starve today, let me just eat what they're giving me. But you are the one feeding them.
Yeah.
But you're the better one here. You don't need this person. Have you met a person who you could not make sense to? They talk, and you feel maddening rage yourself. Yes. You feel, are you awake?
See?
That is what I'm describing today.
Yes.
It's not trauma bond.
No.
As I told you, trauma bonding people can tell you a bad history.
Yeah.
They can tell you where this came from. They suffered such a traumatizing breakup. They can't face another breakup now. So they're trying to hold this relationship to avoid having to face that again. They don't think they can stand. They will collapse. Rejection. Oh my God. It's fear of another that is keeping them.
Yeah.
Trauma bonded people will stay because of avoid. They know. They have at least a degree of insight. They just don't have the energy, the emotional courage. Yeah. And the therapist, what the therapist does with trauma bonded people is to build emotional stamina, to build mental stamina, to build the courage, hope, support. For them to pull. They already agree, I need to.
Yes.
But I don't know how to.
Yeah.
So, Mikali, what I noticed, I came to call it living in perpetual darkness. Because these people have no insight. It's like they're still unconscious. It's like a part of them, although they're talking to you and they're blinking, is still not functioning, not awake.
Yes.
And when I researched on it with a lot of disturbance, I landed on a very simple solution like the one of some of us that did not need bringing expensive chemicals, luckily. You know, I came to discover those people who were in relationships between 18 to around those 6 years of 18 to 24. Those who started dating at that time and got into relationships, and they did not apply their mind to learning or to becoming.
Yeah.
Something else happened. And it's what I want to focus about today.
Okay.
We have talked about using that period to develop your career.
Yes.
That you should use it to at least master a skill. To find out what you want to be in terms of career. And you need freedom from relationships. To be free to move around, consult mentors, make networks, try new things. The small shillings you have, the support you are getting, you should use it to move around, to spend it on yourself.
Yeah.
on that side of career, we have really dwelt on that.
Yes.
But what I discovered here was startling, because it is said the brain is a muscle and it grows by exercise. Although it exists in you,
Yeah.
and it may develop the biological capacity, if you do not apply it, it remains dormant. Those muscles you don't use, the day you try to use them, the way the gym instructor gives you a move that seems simple, a very small weight,
Yeah.
half kg. No, that one, this is very simple. You know, sure. No, it's okay. I know it's easy. I just need to do 5. Just do like this 5. Then you do the first one. Why has it become heavier? Oh my God! No, I can't do 3. He is targeting a muscle he knows.
Yes.
You don't use.
Yes.
And then you go home. Tomorrow, that muscle is very painful. And when you went there, you were okay.
Yeah. You were fine. They have injured you.
You are so unconscious of an existing problem.
Yes.
So these people have a problem and they're unconscious of the existence of the problem. So that period when you don't apply yourself to learning, there's a part of your brain that doesn't get hatched. Unfortunately, that part is what defines these 3 things. Your individuality, who you are, separate from other people.
Okay.
That's what enables you to say I.
Mm-hmm.
That's what enables you to say I and see yourself as a separate person.
Mm-hmm.
I think, therefore, I am. There's a philosopher who said that. To think separately on who you are and to demarcate the boundaries of your personality. The second level of identity. First level of identity comes from teenage. When you can see yourself away from your dad, your mom, your family, and see who you are. You identify with your peer group. Mm-hmm. It reaches there. Teenagers, the farthest can go is to identify with a peer group. Just understand that. That's why they develop their own language, their own social something. Teenage. They are more loyal to the group. Yeah. Usually even more than family. If you're not careful as a parent. Yes. If you don't penetrate them out, they'll lock you out. And they'll have a life going on. There are things they're planning, like the things they're doing.
Yes.
So the identity of teenage stops at peer group. Mm-hmm. They have identity that stops at who I am as a person. Yeah. Comes at early adulthood. Other scientists had already talked about it. Eric Erickson called it identity versus confusion is 13 to 19. Ego identity versus role confusion. Okay. He was using vice versus virtue versus vice. If you successfully navigate this phase, you come out with identity. If you don't, come out with the confusion. This other phase of 20 to 29, he called it intimacy versus isolation. If you, and he was not saying intimacy sexual with other people, intimacy with yourself, deeper connectedness with who you are, getting rooted with you. And he said, if you don't navigate well, you come out isolated from yourself. So those people are isolated from themselves. That period, they navigated it badly. They failed at coming out to intimate knowing of this is who I am, this is what I take. So what they failed at is they did not exercise that part of their mind that defines this is who I am, this is what I take, this is what I deserve. The second thing that failed, which is very dangerous, is to have, you've been taught about individuating. Yes. You've been taught about the standards. Yes. But what they did not warn you is that if you do not set a philosophy of life, me as Moikali, what I believe is this. If you cannot say what you believe personally, without marriage, without family, without friends, without peer group, without the class of 2012, when you do not have secure identity and a distinct personality, if you don't come to peace, you see, for me, I don't like that. I would rather not. Until you can say that. Yeah. Number 2, your beliefs, the beliefs that will guide your life. Usually come from experiences, betrayals, promotions, people who came through, who were faithful. If you do not stay alone until you develop that philosophy, you will never be aware when you're being dragged away, abused. When people encroach onto your boundaries, you don't know the boundary. When people exploit you, you don't know whether you're being exploited. When people take advantage, you don't know whether that advantage is just sacrificing for relationship. So if you find next time a 40-year-old, that 5-year-old, who seems unconscious, they are doing John 13:30. That's when Judas betrayed our Lord and he went out. And when he went out, it says it was night. Yes. These people went out from themselves, betrayed themselves at a period when they were supposed to come home to themselves. Yeah. And therefore, it was night. It is still night. It is confusion. They are lost. They are detached. They are unaware, unawake, unenlightened. It is night. How shall you advise them? Tell them, the way I told that girl that, I know you want to bring that person thinking you're working on a relationship.
Yes.
But I'm sorry to say you're the one who is unconscious. A part of you is unconscious. Although you're talking English and you're blinking, please, you are detached from yourself. That 6 year, 18 to 24, when you are in a relationship and trying to run after romance, that's when you're supposed to be coming home to yourself. I asked her, I can ask you one question, and if you answer it, you'll have disputed me and to tell me, surely, you are right. So I'll ask, tell me one thing you can't take in relationships. She has nothing, because she never stayed enough to say, I can't take this.
Yes.
You know the person. Always ask them 2 questions. Tell me one thing you can't take. What is your minimum acceptable in relationships? That question may seem simple, but you arrived at it during that season of becoming. The other question is quite technical, but very important.
Okay.
Tell them who you are without your roles, without being a husband or a father. Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Describe you as Mwikali.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very uncomfortable thing. Naturally, they will avoid the question.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, I'm a CEO, I'm this, I am loving, I'm caring. No. I am, who are you?
Yes.
You know, because that's the thing they skipped. And so that's what wakes you up. That wakes you up. That ability to say, I am a lady. And as I told you, whenever they ask you who you are, answer the way John answered.
Yes.
Always attach it to purpose, to become clear very quickly. But who are you? I'm a voice in the wilderness. You know, what is your voice? What are you? What is your place? What is your role? Why are you here? That's the question they can't answer.
Yes.
Because they're intertwined in that thing and swallowed. In conclusion, if you neglect the place of becoming, the role of learning and stretching until you define who you are, distinct from everybody else, your life will be, it was night. In order to get the day, come back home to yourself.
Absolutely. Now, this is the kind of enlightenment that makes you, you. And to add on to that is, without it, you'll just stagger in life, groping through darkness. The most unfortunate betrayal in human history was recorded in a brief and said piece of scripture when Judas went out to sell his master, and it was night. This is John 13:13. I like that you add this onto this conclusion. And you say, if you go out to have fun at the expense of bringing light into your own mind, all that will be said of your relationship will be, and it was night. It was sad. It was confusing. It was unfortunate. But you know what we'll talk about? Because I also feel like we have a part 2 for this one, Zulu, is what to do then. Now that you have opened up my eyes, what do I do now? So click for part 2. Adios.